Most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they stop. They stop when it gets uncomfortable. They stop when progress slows. They stop when results don't validate their effort fast enough. They stop when motivation fades, but there are rare individuals who never stop. Cristiano Ronaldo, Kobe Bryant. Not because they were born different, but because they built a mind that refuses to negotiate with comfort. And that is not luck. That is psychology. We romanticize talent. We glorify genetics. We tell ourselves stories about natural ability. But talent is unreliable. Talent fluctuates. Talent without structure decays. Obsession, however, compounds. Obsession organizes behavior. Obsession creates systems. Obsession turns effort into identity. And identity is the most powerful psychological force a human can possess. Obsession is often misunderstood. People think it means emotional chaos, uncontrolled intensity, reckless ambition. But the most powerful form of obsession is quiet. It is structured, it is deliberate, it is repetition without drama. It is showing up when nothing inside you feels excited. It is executing when nobody is impressed. That is the obsession that builds legacy. Look at Cristiano Ronaldo. He did not just train, he engineered himself. Every detail calculated, sleep cycles optimized, nutrition monitored, recovery structured, training repeated long after he had already proven himself. Long after awards, long after global recognition. Why? Because his identity was never successful. His identity was improving. That distinction changes everything. When your identity is tied to improvement rather than achievement, you never plateau. Because achievement has a finish line, improvement does not. Psychology calls this self-determined identity alignment. When your behavior aligns with your internal standard, discipline stops feeling forced. There is no daily debate. There is no emotional negotiation. There is simply action. Ronaldo does not wake up asking if he feels like training. Training is not optional. It is embedded. It is who he is. Now look at Kobe Bryant, the Mamba Mentality. But strip away the brand, strip away the headlines. What remains? Obsession with mastery. He didn't practice casually, he practiced with intention. He studied the footwork of legends, he analyzed angles, he broke down defensive behavior. He rehearsed scenarios mentally before games even began. That level of cognitive rehearsal changes neural pathways. The brain cannot fully distinguish between vividly imagined practice and real execution. He was training his mind as much as his body. That is psychological advantage. Kobe once described his approach to competition as strategic over-preparation. If I work more than you, I earn confidence. Confidence through preparation is different from confidence through ego. Ego hopes, preparation knows. That certainty eliminates hesitation, and hesitation is the silent killer of performance. Now here's where most people disconnect. They want the outcome. They don't want the structure. They want confidence. They don't want preparation. They want recognition. They don't want repetition. Obsession accepts repetition as currency. Repetition is not punishment. It is investment, and investment requires patience. There is a neurological explanation behind this. Every repeated behavior strengthens a neural circuit. The more a pathway is used, the more efficient it becomes. This is neuroplasticity. Over time, discipline requires less emotional energy. It becomes automatic. The brain adapts to the standard you set. If you repeatedly avoid discomfort, your brain wires for avoidance. If you repeatedly confront discomfort, your brain wires for resilience. Ronaldo wired resilience. Kobe wired resilience. Not through speeches, through repetition. Let's talk about delayed gratification, the psychological ability to prioritize future reward over immediate pleasure. Most individuals operate on emotional immediacy. If it feels good now, I'll do it. Obsessed individuals invert that model. If it builds me later, I'll endure it now. That mental inversion shifts trajectory over time, because greatness is not explosive, it is incremental. It is small decisions stacked consistently. Days become months. Months become years, and the gap becomes irreversible. Another key element, focus. True obsession narrows attention. It eliminates distraction. In a world designed to fracture attention, focus is dominance. Ronaldo did not become elite by scattering his energy. Kobe did not master his craft by multitasking. They reduced noise. They eliminated unnecessary environments. They guarded their standards. Where attention goes, identity grows. If your attention is scattered, your growth is diluted. If your attention is concentrated, your growth accelerates. Obsession is lonely. There is no applause in private discipline, no audience at 4 a.m., no viral moment in silent repetition. Most people depend on external validation. Obsessed individuals generate internal validation. They measure progress against their own standard. That internal scorecard is psychologically liberating because it makes performance independent of approval. And here is the paradox. Obsession, when healthy, creates freedom. Because you are no longer controlled by mood. You are no longer dictated by impulse. You are no longer derailed by distraction. You become governed by structure. Structure reduces emotional chaos. Chaos drains energy. Structure conserves it. The world often confuses obsession with extremity, but extremity burns out. Sustainable obsession is controlled. It is calculated. It is patient. Kobe did not dominate because he was intense for a month. He dominated because he was consistent for decades. Ronaldo did not maintain peak performance through hype. He maintained it through discipline layered over time. Layer upon layer. Year upon year. That compounding effect cannot be faked. Growth mindset plays a critical role. The belief that ability can be developed, that failure is information, that limitation is temporary. Obsessed individuals interpret setbacks differently. A missed opportunity is not humiliation, it is data. A loss is not identity damage, it is feedback. This cognitive reframing prevents emotional collapse. It transforms failure into refinement, and refinement fuels obsession. Most people quit because they chase emotional highs. They expect excitement to sustain effort. But excitement is unstable. Obsession is stable. It does not require enthusiasm, it requires commitment. And commitment is quieter than passion, but infinitely more powerful. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Obsession demands monotony. It demands repetition. It demands humility. It demands the willingness to improve when no one is watching. The world glamorizes the spotlight, but the spotlight is earned in darkness, in repetition, in structure, in solitude. Ask yourself honestly, do you want the image of excellence or the structure of excellence? Because they are not the same. The image is public, the structure is private, the image is admired, the structure is endured. Ronaldo endured, Kobe endured. That is why they became symbols. You do not need their talent, you need their standard. Align your identity with improvement. Remove negotiation from your habits. Protect your focus. Accept monotony. Delay gratification. Repeat until automatic. Rewire your brain through behavior. Most people start. Few continue. Very few refuse to stop. Ronaldo refused to stop. Kobe refused to stop. Not because they were fearless, not because they were superhuman, but because stopping contradicted who they believed they were. That is the psychology of obsession. When improvement becomes identity, quitting becomes unnatural, talent impresses, obsession transforms, motivation ignites, obsession sustains. The world does not reward potential. It rewards those who build structure around obsession. The question is not whether you are talented. The question is, what are you willing to repeat until it becomes who you are?